Must be a Beth fan. Good evening, everyone. Today, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, tonight, and to our guests, bienvenidos. We're going to recognize Town of Walker Junior Police Academy. This Junior Police Academy, for some reason, was stopped years ago. And when it was presented to me to bring it back, I said, absolutely. My son, who is now 23 years old, did attend this police academy when he was, I believe, 10, 11 years old. And I know how good it is. Just some of the things that the Town of Walker Police did. They did drill lessons, physical fitness, character lessons, safety lessons. They had guest lectures and demonstration from different type of emergency management, EMS, K9 SWAT, and team building. Today in society, it's important that we, the older ones, take into consideration our young. And with that, I felt that it was good to have this academy. I've gotten nothing but great words of people. This is the third week. We have a graduation tomorrow. And I felt that it was important to recognize not only the youth that are here today, but also the officers, detectives, sergeants who made it possible. So tonight we're going to recognize them, and we're going to go down and give them some certificates. One, two. Okay, good. So there's a lot of officers who were involved in the Junior Police Academy. And I'm going to read the names. And there's only one officer here today, and we'll get to that officer in a minute. Officer Travis Barton, Officer Madison Lindeman, who was the K9 officer. Yeah. And can't forget Officer Bain, the K9 himself, Officer Bain. Detective Christopher DiNapoli. Officer Brian Smith. Officer Christopher Ferry. Officer Asia Watts. Officer Michael Medina. Officer Michael Mills. Officer Daniel Graham. Detective Sergeant Jeremy Warner. And the last but not least, the main officer who put it all together, who her dedication to this when she brought it to my attention, it's fantastic. Officer Stephanie Roberto. Stepping from the podium. Come on, you want to say, she's going to say a couple of words, but you know, the enthusiastic that she is about this whole program, and we've had conversation of how we're going to already expand it next year. It's just fantastic.
Firstly, I just want to thank all the families. I know this was not a new program to the town of Wallkill, but a revised program from years ago. So I really want to thank you guys for putting your faith and trust in us. I'm a parent too, and I know it's not easy to just drop your kids off with somebody and say, I hope you guys have a great day. Everybody's going to be safe and taken care of. So we really appreciate your trust and faith in us. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to everybody in the town of Wallkill Police Department. Officer Graham specifically came in and helped out when we needed substitutions because other officers got busy doing, you know, the important work, the work on the street, taking care of people, helping people. He came in and spent a lot of time with all three groups, teaching us CPR and bleeding control, EMS. He helped us with evidence. The New York State Police helped a ton with their canines when we needed them at the last minute at the end when Officer Bain and Officer Lindeman couldn't make it. The Orange County Department of Mental Health did presentations with the kids each week just to teach them about crisis intervention and their own mental health and well-being and how to help themselves and take care of other people. So they were all great. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for trusting us and putting your faith in us for this program. I really hope your kids got a lot out of it. I'm definitely open to ideas. This was the first time I've ever put something like this together. So I've been asking the kids every week, what do you want to do more of? What would you like to see less of? Some said more push-ups, some said less push-ups. So we'll try to find a happy medium there next time. But just thank you. And thank you to the town for the great support. I think this is really important and I hope we can keep doing it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, great program. Like I said, my son still speaks about it when he was in it, and we're looking to keeping this going and hopefully expanding it. Next, we have a historic moment with our assistant historian, Tom Nosworthy.
Hi, everyone at home and here on Zoom. I have 2.5 items to talk about tonight. You can figure out which one is the half. I am Tom Nosworthy. I'm with the town office of the town of Wallkill's historian and the town of Wallkill Historical Association. The association is similar to a society. Are you on Turner Grant? No. Oh, okay. Or should I be? Take the camera later. Anyway, the association is similar to a society and presents historical programs on the second Saturday of each month, except July and August, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. here in Town Hall. The next history program is Saturday, September 10th, featuring entrepreneur Frank Diaz. He will speak on the historical development and treatment of Down syndrome, formerly called Mongolism, which is not used anymore. His son, 46-year-old Kirk, is affected by Downs. Frank has worked on the Board of Emergency Housing for over 30 years, a Rotary member for over 20 years, involved with Letters to Santa. Frank is also a power lifter, or what we used to call a weightlifter. He is a world master champion and has pressed up to 733 pounds. Now for the next item, this is a little history information about the town. In 1926, there was a huge poultry farm, at least 4,000 chickens, on Route 211 at the Goshen Turnpike called Wayside. That's Goshen Turnpike and 211. It had a 3-story chicken house and other coops owned by the Smith family. The Smiths developed a breed of Rhode Island Reds called Wayside, the name of their farm. The eggs were very large and with brown shells. They also had a chicken who could count her own eggs. She was a Mathema chicken. Actually, I remember I was working for General Telephone in 1966. Now the Frontier and formerly Continental Telephone and originally Orange County Telephone. In that area, Route 211 and Goshen Turnpike, it was the connecting point between Middletown and the fast growing Scotchtown on poles before a building was even built for the 692 exchange. The chicken coops were raised, torn down, by burning. The coops had heavily tarred roofs and floors layered with chicken manure. Not for you there, chicken manure. And had the smell tinted with ammonia. And what a smell that fire made. It lasted for days, even weeks. Quite unique flavor. And, oh yeah, the thick black smoke was all over the place. Yeah, where am I? So I've got some information to be handed out. Darlene, if you could take care of the town board and the side tables. I don't know how far this information is going to go in the public, but it's just sort of pass a couple of them around. Maybe the other. Oh, yeah, there's one more, yeah, the other half of the thing. Also, as most everybody knows, this is the 250th anniversary of the town of Walk Hill's beginning. Ironically, recently, we just came across a brochure from the bicentennial that was done in 1972. So I've now framed it in this plaque. Now, the interesting part about this plaque is it's open, so you can take it out and read what's in it. The supervisor, for your presence. Oh, and we are also working, we also came across a 9-foot-long banner that represented the information about the bicentennial. And we are working on developing that for presentation at a future date. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Tom. Like he has stated, it is the 250th anniversary of the town. And every town board meeting, we do have a snippet on history on the town. There's a lot of history here. Next, we have any public participation, 3 minutes, any agenda items. Go into the audience. So you know, we do have councilman. One of our councilmen is not here today. He is actually on Zoom. It's Councilman Eric Valentin. So anyone have anything, public participation? Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in the audience? Anyone on Zoom? Okay. Correspondence, do we have any, Madam Clerk? All right, thank you. Resolution, you're up.
Resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Walk Hill appointing Albert Vance as Building Inspector 3. Resolved the Town Board of the Town of Walk Hill hereby appoints Albert Vance to the position of Building Inspector 3 in the Town Building Department, effective immediately at a salary of $86,595.53, provided that all appropriate documentation is submitted and accepted by the Orange County Department of Human Resources Civil Service Department. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Valentin,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Supervisor Serrano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go into Councilman comments. Let's start with Councilman Mark Coyne.
Okay, let's start with highway. For the month of August, we finished up all the drainage work on Ross Lane and Amy Lane. We are continuing our drainage improvements on Greenway Terrace and should have that completed in 2 weeks. We have finished milling Greenway Terrace, Amy Lane, Ross Lane, Milo Drive, and Sands Road. to prepare these roads for pavement. And we'll be paving these roads within the next couple of weeks. And we've also been doing some basin repairs throughout the town as well. Moving on to Veterans Affairs, there's a few things going on in September. Number one, we have the Wall That Heals coming to our town. If you're not familiar with this, it's a replica of the actual wall down in Washington, DC. And it will be here at Mount Carmel from September 15th through the 18th for viewing. And I'll just read a couple of paragraphs from the pamphlet here. The 3/4 scale wall replica is 375 feet in length and stands 7.5 feet high at its tallest point. Visitors experience the wall rising above them as they walk toward the apex, a key feature of the design of the wall in DC. Like the original memorial, the Wall That Heals is erected in a chevron shape, and visitors can do name rubbings of individual service members' names on the wall. The wall replica is constructed of avionite, a synthetic granite, and its 140 numbered panels are supported by an aluminum frame. Machine engraving of more than 58,000 names, along with modern LED lighting, provide readable of the wall day and night. It's actually quite a sight. I really hope everybody finds some time to get over there. I think the last time they were in the area, they had over 12,000 visitors in 4 days. So it's going to be busy, and it'll be well worth it, I'm sure. And just a quick update on our town wall. We do have 3 sections that are coming in October. One is coming in the first week, 1 section, and then a couple weeks later, the other 2 sections will be coming. So we continue to raise money for that. Those 3 sections, total cost was $46,800. We're down to $15,000 left to raise, and we continue to work on that. 9/11 is coming. And our services, that's on a Sunday this year. So our services will be at 9 o'clock in the morning. Same place we have it every year at Veterans Memorial Park. It's the corner of Route 17M and Highland Avenue. And just some comments. I want to congratulate our Assistant Building Inspector, Chuck Russell. He's retiring September 1st. Great employee, great guy. And I wish him all the best in his next chapter of his life. Retirement, the money of an adult and the responsibility of a child. I wish him all the luck. It'll be great. And the other thing I just want to mention is that school starts up in a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on what district you're in. Be mindful of the kids at the school bus stops. Be mindful of the buses themselves having to stop periodically. And everybody enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, we have Councilman Eric Valentin.
Good evening, everyone. I will start with, can you hear me okay? Why? Is there an echo?
Really loud.
Oh, okay. Here, let me lower this. How's that? Better? Okay, well, better to be heard, right? All right, well, our parks, all the park fence and wood lines have been trimmed back. The final grading is complete on the dog park that is located today at Circleville Park. We should be adding some stone next week, and then mulch, surfacing and signs, benches and shade structures have all been ordered and they're forthcoming for that area. We're waiting for an estimate from the contractors for the acrylic surfacing and lining of the new pickleball park that will be located at Stevens Avenue Park. For those people that don't know where that is typically where we kick off our Little League parade every year. So that'll be a great use for that park. It's been there, just sitting there, and it's been identified, and I think it's going to get a much better and happier use. I think the residents in that local area, immediate area, will be happy with that as well. We're having the contractor replace the fabric on the fence around Circle Drive Park. It's about 25 years old and it's in rough shape, so it'll be good to replace that. Our 4 Little League ball and soccer have started practice. Game starts after Labor Day within 2 weeks. Swimming and boating are still open daily through Labor Day at Circleville Park, so anyone interested in that, take advantage of it. And the police office expansion getting close to completion, lighting and electrical almost complete. IT and phone should be in shortly. For the police, our staffing, the department currently has 45 full-time sworn police officers. Tomorrow we'll be swearing in 7 new police officers. 3 of the newly hired officers are certified officers and will begin patrol immediately. And 4 of the hires will begin the police academy on Monday. Additionally, on August 10th, we'll welcome 2 new part-time officers, Michael Segura and Ricky Maldonado. As far as our arrest data, our arrests year to date are up 6.8%. That's 593 for 2022 versus 555 for 2021. Police Community Council, in lieu of the next regularly scheduled meeting on Thursday, September 8th at 6 p.m., the council will host an end of summer barbecue. All are welcome to attend. Our Police Youth Coalition, this past Tuesday night, the Police Youth Coalition hosted 50 guests for a night of baseball at the Hudson Valley Renegades. Among those attendants were Rosie Altero, Walsh, Community Council Member Bob So, and Police Officer Cruz and Hudson. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 20th at the Community Center. The National Against Crime this year's event was held on August 2nd and was one of the most successful ever. We thank those who participated in our 20th annual event, and we look forward to seeing everyone again next year. The police versus youth softball on August 13th, our police department took on community youth in our 2nd annual Mary Olson Memorial Softball Tournament held under the lights at the town of Walk Hill Little League Field. Despite the violent effort by the entire police team, the police suffered yet another defeat. The police are looking forward to next year when and will hopefully reverse this losing streak. As we are all aware, mass shootings are an ever-present threat in our society. In response, the town of Walk Hill Department has provided training to various entities within our town. Most recently, on August 18th, our police provided active shooter training to members of the Transformation Reformed Church. Anyone interested, please contact Chief Hertman at 692-6757. As far as my comments, I want to wish best of luck to our kids and parents back to school. It's an exciting time. It will be different, somewhat different, but somewhat familiar compared to last year in schools. I want to wish all the best of luck and prayers to my 2 grandkids that will be starting kindergarten. That's an exciting time and different stage in their life, of course. And to those college-bound students, the sky's the limit. Reach for the stars and explore everything that the schools have to offer. Remember, whatever you start may not be what you end with, but take advantage of every opportunity that's afforded to you while you're in school there. Happy and healthy Labor Day celebration to all our residents. And best of luck to Chuck Russell. Good luck, and thank you, Chuck, for all those years of service that you provided to the town building department. And best of luck to Al Vance on your new role. We have all the faith and confidence that you'll be very successful in that. And the last thing is, as mentioned, the night out was probably the best we had this year. The attendance was tremendous, participation was tremendous, and it couldn't have been done without all the help and hands-on by everyone that was there to help and get it all together. So thank you for that, and look forward to next year's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Neumeier.
Thank you. First, I wanted to thank the new Deputy Controller, Cheryl Gross, for joining the team. I've had the opportunity to speak with her a few times and found it refreshing to have a fellow accountant on the team. We discussed the need for accounting policies within the town, and I provided her with all the policies I accumulated and worked on to date. These were the same policies I provided to the supervisor back in February, as well as the ones worked on by town attorney, Mr. Frank, in May. She will be reviewing them, amending them for use within the town, and sending them to the board for approval. I would suggest that when the supervisor receives them, he puts them on the agenda for a vote by the entire board. Last night, there was a discussion about dispatchers and the decision to make them full-time. I understand the email that was being referred to was an email received by the board back in March. This was discussed a month ago, and we determined as a board that just knowing what the cost differential from part-time to full-time wasn't enough. This would represent approximately $150,000 increase to the budget, and we need to discuss the need to figure out the rising costs of inflation, contractual obligations, and other additions to the budget over the past year, if this is even financially feasible at this time. And this was the analysis I thought we all agreed to. Has this analysis been done? If not, why? Have we looked at other options like increasing hourly pay or other options that might be available and on the table? Understand that recruiting is difficult in this time, but are we even looking? And if so, where? I spoke to Jill, the town HR director, and she indicated we don't even have ads out. It's difficult to find people if we aren't continuously looking. So I think it's important to address these issues quickly and move forward. This is an important position that we need to have staffed, and moving forward quickly is important. It's important to get all voices at the table to ensure best results for all the taxpayers. Also, last night, I was under the impression that the board agreed on August 17th to bring in RJ Smith and Tetz to discuss their proposal at last night's work session. I was surprised that they weren't on the agenda and reached out to see what was going on. Was there a communication with them regarding the project where they were informed that the board made a decision? And if so, what was that decision? Turning to comments, volunteers are still needed for the Friendly Visitor Program. Training dates will be held on Tuesday, September 13th at 5:30 or Thursday, September 29th at 10 a.m. If you would like to volunteer, and we absolutely need volunteers, this is a valuable program for our community and our neighbors, please call 845-341-1173, extension 305, or email volunteer@jfsorange.org. I wanted to wish all the students the best of luck going back to school, and I want everyone to have a happy and safe Labor Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Eric Johnson.
Thank you. I will start with the building department. Kind of a good month for them as far as fees. Issued building permits were 189. The certificates of completion and occupancy issued was 194. The total fees collected was $147,361. They addressed 72 complaints and carried out 924 inspections. Water and sewer. So you heard me mention last time, and as you know, we haven't really gotten any more rain, and we do rely on groundwater for our wells for everybody that uses town water. So we're certainly in a spot where we need to start to conserve because there's no real rain in the forecast. But anyway, we'll start. So several leaks, as always. There was 2 large ones in Mechanicstown. They were back to back. The guys did a great job taking care of those. There was another large service leak in Scotchtown that occurred. And as always, it's a big thank you to your understanding while we're getting your water back in service. The drought conditions that you just heard me mention really haven't had a big effect on our larger wells and our larger production wells, just some minor issues. But if we don't take steps moving forward, it certainly will will develop into those. So there is a voluntary water restriction for all of District 1, which is most of the town. So please refrain from any outside water usage and any unnecessary water usage. And in the smaller districts like Lorelei and Walk Hill Heights, we actually had to make that mandatory, the restrictions, just because those well fields don't have the volume of water that the larger ones do. And if you have any questions about restrictions, you can contact the department or from the website. Rob Waligrowski is the water and sewer supervisor. You can reach out to him. And the plant operators have been working also closely with the town engineers and the Department of Health to test and implement changes to try and stay on top of the total trihalomethane issue.
Okay.
All right, so really, I just needed to say that the department has been working with the highway crews, getting stuff ready for paving and contractors marking stuff out. And as always, both of those departments are 365 a day operations. Those guys and gals do a great job down there. Comments. First, I would just like to wish the best of luck and congratulations. First, Al Vance, our new building inspector, and to Chuck Russell. Both of these guys have been instrumental in the town for many years. Chuck moving on to retirement, which is hopefully something that is the best thing he's ever done in his life. Start of the school year. I know some of you guys are pretty excited out here in the audience and probably a little nervous too, but let me just tell you, us teachers are just as nervous as you guys going into a new school year. We are like, oh my God, 150 new little faces. I got to learn their names too and personalities. So we're feeling the same thing you are. So don't worry there. But again, for everybody out on the road, please look out for the buses and the kids walking to bus stops because, we want to make sure everybody gets to school safe and gets home safe. The 9/11 ceremony, again, that's on Sunday. So it's an early one, 9 a.m. It shouldn't be too hot. I know this weather's been crazy, but hopefully by then it'll be a little nicer. It'd be nice to see everybody out there for that. That's always well attended. And a happy Labor Day to everyone. I hope you get the chance to spend some time with your family before summer ends and do some quality stuff before things get crazy with the start of the school year. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay. First of all, congratulations to Al Vance being appointed as the building inspector. Chuck Russell, congratulations on his retirement. And also I would like to thank the summer interns who we had during the summer here during the summer. Okay. Back on August 20th, we worked out with Wilkins Ministry International to have a back to school drive. My understanding, we had 700 to 750 families come through, and Councilman Johnson and Councilman Cohen were the one there representing the town. It was a great drive to give back to the community. Again, just to say again, 9/11, that morning, 9 a.m. by Manning's Diners, we're going to be speaking about 9/11. Also, talking about the wall that we have on that's coming to Mount Carmel, we also have with the Kiwanis that's going to have flags posted on Orange County Trust Bank on their lawn, which is by Sharp Road Extension and Winning Way. They're going to be there. It starts, I believe, September 13th, and they're going to be there to the 18th. The pickleball court, that's going to be done hopefully soon. One thing I want to also add is that come September 6th, town hall hours go back to 9 to 5. And as everyone knows, on September 17th, the town is going to celebrate a birthday bash along with the Galleria Mall. The town is going to celebrate 250th with a parade up Winning Way along with the 30th anniversary with the Galleria Mall. So we decided to have some grand marshals, and the grand marshals for the Galleria is Dilip and Karen A., who are Orange County residents and are also the owners of the Sweet Feeling Jewelers in the Galleria. They've been there since the beginning of the Galleria, 30 years. And if anyone's ever been there to do anything with jewelry, you would know the family, they've been there. So they're going to be the Grand Marshal representing the Galleria. As for the town, we've had, make an announcement, we have 2 Grand Marshals. The first one is a retired Supreme Court Justice Joseph G. Owen, who has been very instrumental in this town for many years. His family live here, he lives here, and he's going to be the Grand Marshal. Other Grand Marshal, if anyone knows the name, she's been around a long time, and we have 2 of her kids working with us. It's Dorothy Hogan and Gracia, who was born in the city of Middletown on September 19, 1931. She began her career with the town of Wallkill as a secretary to the supervisor, Dennis Cosgrove, in 1980. In 1986, she was appointed as receiver of taxes and continued in that position, being elected numerous times, most times receiving the greatest number of votes. She retired in 2012 at the age of 82, and she will be celebrating her, I'm not going to say her birthday. Can I say it? Okay. Her 91st birthday on September 19th. So she's going to be the other Grand Marshal. And I don't know if our town clerk, her daughter, would like to say a couple of words.
Well, anyone who knows my lovely mother who is listening right now, I had encouraged my sisters to not put the Zoom on tonight, because when I walk in the door, I know she's going to say, I'm not going. But we are certainly proud of our parents. They taught us how to work hard. We followed in their footsteps. My dad was a black dirt farmer before he became a politician. He was a school board member. He was a councilman here. He was a New York State Assemblyman. My mother volunteered at numerous things, all while raising 5 of us. And we're not ashamed to say that we probably were poor, but we did not know it. We never wanted for anything. I know that my parents sometimes would borrow money from my grandparents to go to the savings bank and make the $96 mortgage payment, but we had no idea. We had every opportunity afforded us. And we love my mother dearly, and she might be a little unhappy, but she's a good writer. She'll be okay. And I certainly am honored, George, when you asked me to include my mom. We certainly are honored with that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. These are individuals. Going back to the history that this town has a rich history, 250 years. It's older than the country itself. And, you know, we have families who've been here, and these are elected officials who, thank God, are still with us. And I think it's important that we as a town, as a community, recognize them, and it's important for that. So that's going to be good. Next, I had the opportunity to attend Mary Olson softball game between the police and the Police Youth Coalition. We had a pitcher who was the chief, and we had great commentary from Councilman Meyer, who was doing the play-by-play, and it was a good game, but the youth prevailed and they won the game. So it was a good night for the youth and for the police to see that, you know, nowadays everyone can get along regardless of what's going on in the world. With that being said, congratulations to all students going back to school, both in the local schools and to college. Happy Labor Day. And with that, Town Clerk, you got any comments?
Okay, thank you to everybody who donated for the Boys and Girls Club, their annual backpacks for Hope Drive. That's held every year. We were overwhelmed with donations again this year. And I know most of the clerks in our area collect. And there was a great outpouring from the community to help kids that may or may not have everything they need to get started, along with the event that was held at the mall. I think it's a great thing because I know that if you watch any of the reports, they said that this year buying school supplies, everything, the cost of everything, especially paper, has risen so much. So I'm sure it's helpful for a lot of those parents. Mr. Supervisor, you mentioned the Flags for Heroes dedication by the Kiwanis, and their actual opening of that will be September 10th at 11 a.m. Right there on the Orange Bank and Trust property, and they're encouraging everyone to come. I think it's going to be a sight to see. It sounds like it's going to be very nice. Our DPW men and women will be helping the Kiwanis get all of those flags arranged there, and they will be displayed from September 5th through the 17th. I know Tom is here for our historian, but Gwen, who had worked many years with Dottie and Tom, has decided that she needs to retire. Gwen stopped in today to see us all, and we thank her for all her years of clipping articles and pasting pictures and all the things that she's done. My congratulations as well to Al Vance. Al has been a very, I think, an asset to the town. I was just telling, I think, Councilman Meyer, there was an issue in his ward, and I mentioned it to Al, and he and his staff took care of it like immediately. So I think Al will be a great asset to us. Chuck, he's my birthday buddy. His birthday's the day before mine. So Chuck is looking forward to spending some time up in Maine with his family, which he has not been able to do because he was working. So we're all excited for that. Our summer intern this year was a young lady by the name of Gabriella. She was very helpful in the office. She did a lot of things for us. And she is a Goshen gladiator, I guess they call them in Goshen. And she will be going into her senior year at Goshen this coming year. And I believe tomorrow is her last day with us. So we want to thank her. And I know last meeting I talked about one of the departments, and tonight I just want to mention the names of, I think there were 13 folks here. There was a Democratic congressional primary held on Tuesday here. This was in each town, they only opened one poll site because this is the third, I think, primary this year. And this was the poll site for folks in the town of Wallkill. I believe almost 500 people voted here, which sounds like a lot, but if you looked at the Democratic enrollment, it's probably less than, I don't know, you're the math guy, 3%. It was crazy. So I'll just read their first names because I don't think these folks get enough attaboys because it's a long day. People say, oh, well, they get paid. Yeah, they get paid, but they have to be here at 5 a.m. And we left here Tuesday night just before the alarm went off at about 3 minutes to 10. So it's a very long day. Velma, Josephine, Carmen, Christopher, Shanika, Ayana, Evelyn, Claire, Francis, Cynthia, Ed, our fellow Met fan, Chief Brian, he was here, and Janine. And these folks do an amazing job for not only the town, but actually for our country, because voting is probably one of the most important things. And I know there's a lot of young people here today. Voting is probably one of the most important things you will do as an adult. And that these folks come and give their time. Yes, they're paid. But it's a big job. And I'm always grateful when they don't call me, because normally we get a phone call like 2 or 3 days before the election and they say, we're short people. And then I start making phone calls to people. But this time we were lucky, and all of these folks have worked for us before and did come through and work for us on Tuesday. So I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So I'd like to thank the town board for the new hires last night. There's a great group of officers and recruits that are coming on board. 3 are certified, 4 are going to begin in the academy on Monday. Is Officer Roberta going to be teaching there also? Where'd she go? She stepped out. Okay. But they're going to be attending the full-time police academy beginning Monday. And it's a very diverse group of officers with a great deal of different backgrounds and qualities that they're going to bring into our department to help make it more successful. So thank you again to the town board for those hires. With respect to National Night Out Against Crime, we thank everybody for their support. It was one of the best events ever, certainly one of the most highly attended events, and we're looking forward to exceeding the number next year. So thank you, everybody, for your continued support. Mr. Supervisor, 2 additional credits we have to give to the police youth softball game. Thank you for the community council for their ongoing support. And thank you to our umpires who made a lot of correct calls. There was a high number of correct calls that they made. The umpiring staff did that night. They missed a few. All umpires do. That's okay. But we thank the umpires. But for their dedication to the game, it would not have been the success it was. So I want to personally thank the 2 umpires we had that night, who are our supervisor and Larry. Thank you. You guys really did a great job on a long, hot evening.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. So this past year, we've seen a dangerous trend in our community in relation to vehicle safety. There's been an uptick in serious motor vehicle accidents in our community, and it always seems that the causes are the same. We're going to continue to enforce traffic regulations in the town. The reason we do this is not to be punitive. The reason we enforce traffic regulations is to ensure the roadways are safe for all motorists and all citizens on our roads. We're not happy with the results we're seeing with respect to motor vehicle collisions this year. They're resulting in a high number of fatalities in our town. And we ask everybody, please, it's not worth speeding to get where you have to go. And then lastly, so we talk about this a couple of times a year, and that's sale of alcohol to underage people in our town. So that's when a business, a licensed premise, whether it be a bar or a liquor store or a supermarket, sells alcohol to a minor. You know, for the residents of our town, it's a quality of life issue in that the youth who overindulge in the illegal use of alcohol present problems for our community because they engage in rowdy or destructive behavior. For the youth, it's a health issue, right? Young people should not be engaging in the illegal use of alcohol because it could be dangerous. For businesses, it's a crime. And when business owners are found to be selling alcohol to minors, they will be arrested. We conduct ongoing operations in the town, and I've never seen 100% compliance in that when we go out and we target businesses in our town with undercover operatives who are underage that work for the department that go in and try and buy alcohol, we've never seen an incident or a case or an evening when we went out and performed these operations where we had 100% compliance. We usually average about 60% compliance. That's unacceptable. That's 40% of the businesses that we visit are selling alcohol illegal in our community to our youth that are causing the problems I mentioned before. So I'm putting the businesses on notice. We're out there. The business is being told we are out there. We are actively engaging businesses to see if they're selling alcohol to minors. In the interest of fair play, we want the businesses know if we can get 90% compliance, 10% seems unacceptable, but when we're averaging 60%, that's disheartening for me as police chief, that 40% of the businesses that we target are selling alcohol to minors. So the businesses out there, please be on notice. We're going to be out there visiting you, and we expect a higher rate of compliance in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have public participation, 3 minutes. We'll start with the audience.
Good evening, all.
State your name and your address, please.
My name is Nick Bayak. I live at 287 Stage Road. I'm in town of Walk Hill, but it's Middletown, New York, 09441 address.
And
Just a little background first. I know I only have 3 minutes, so I'll keep it quick. The background is the little known public secret is the property owner across the street from me is being sued by the EPA for over $220 million right now, plus land reclamation. So the lot in front of my house directly is described by the DEC as a very large unauthorized construction and debris landfill, over 31 acres, accepting large quantities of construction debris from New York City sources. Much of the waste does not comply with requirements for exempt construction debris landfill because it's unrecognizable and/or contains waste types not allowed. Test wells were dug on the property in front of me, and it showed toxic chemicals even a year later. According to the EPA, the wetlands and streams were filled in. A lot of this debris either needs to be capped or removed, and a lot of it's still sitting there. The DEC spill reports actually show pictures of debris from New York City in the city with construction equipment, and that same debris dumped on the lot in front of my house. Still there to this day. All right. As George, you're aware, I reached out to you a couple of times. There's unpermitted operations that are still continuing on this lot to this day. The EPA shut them down years ago, but there's been multiple stop work orders since, and they continued to work at full pace. Recently, they're working early AM and after midnight at times. The work going on now isn't anywhere near as bad as what it's been, but it's still not permitted in the RA1 zone. And if it is permitted, I just want clarification. I've reached out to the building inspector, the town supervisor, multiple times saying, hey, is this legal? Is it not legal? According to everything I can find in the RA1 zone, it's not legal, but I'm never getting a response. And it doesn't seem to be being investigated. There's a lot more behind it, but I know we've only got 3 minutes. All right. So I was advised to come in and mention this on public record. I actually was in touch with Al, the new building inspector today, and he said he's going to look into it. So I'm going to keep a lot of my comments to myself because I did speak to Al and he's going to look into it. George, I did report to you about the previous building inspector's issues. He knowingly allowed work to continue with stop work orders in place. I just asked you to look into that, and I'm hoping you will. If anybody needs any DEC, EPA reports, any pictures, documentation of anything going on, please reach out to me. I've offered that to the town many times. In the meantime, work has still continued on this lot, and it's all unpermitted. If it is permitted, just please let me know, and I'll go away. But a lot of this work is continuing after midnight. The town of Walk Hill Police, I've called them multiple times in the past about the noise ordinance, and they told me it was a civil matter. So now I'm on that end, so I can't reach out to the police for the overnight noise and stuff like that. So please look into it. That's it. Please reach out to me if you need anything. Thank you.
thank you, Nick. Zoom. Anyone in the audience? How you doing?
Noni Kelly, 10 Laddie Road. I've been a town resident for 37 years. And I use the golf course a lot. Probably the past 20, 25 years. We've always had a porta potty at the golf course. And yet, when COVID happened, the porta potty was removed. Understandably, COVID was new. We didn't know what was going on. But it's been 2 years and there is not a bathroom for us to use out there on the course. Now, that seems like a little thing, but for women, it's a lot. The men are going into the woods. That's inappropriate. And I really would like to request that the town go and do that. Now, I've spoken to the golf course. The golf course has said it's the town's responsibility. Town might be saying it's the golf course's responsibility, but we own this golf course and we should take responsibility for it. And just in 2 days, I have a request from 75 people who want a bathroom. And I would like the town to address it. And it's a simple problem considering all the problems that you do have. So who do I give this petition to? And I hope that you can resolve it quickly. I mean, it's an easy fix. It's $150 a month. I mean, let's not break the bank, guys, you know? We can do this. This is like, this can give you a one on the yes side, you know? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom? The audience?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Gina Crawford with the Community Council, and I want to congratulate all the cadets that participated in the program, and also to let them know that we do have a youth coalition. They meet the third Tuesday of the month at the community center. All are welcome. It's a great group of young men, or young boys and girls that Rosie Otero Walsh heads up. And she does a lot of wonderful workshops. She does empowering programs. I cannot mention all the stuff she does. However, two things. Tell Dottie she's going for ice cream the morning of the parade. Problem solved. We all know how much she loves her ice cream. Another problem, I don't know if it's a problem, but I belong to Neighbors. And someone reported that on Ruza Gap Road, some stop signs have been taken down. I don't know if this is just a bunch of kids randomly taking stop signs down on some of the back roads, some of the longer back roads. There were comments that were made in that group that one person did witness a fender bender on one of the corners that one of the stop signs is missing. So I don't know how you would address that, but maybe, you know, put something on your Facebook page for people to just really man the roads, if you will.
We got to get out there and replace those signs.
What road is
What
this?
it is, yeah.
It was on the website called Neighbors.
No, the road.
Ruza Gap Road.
Rosa Gap.
Rosa?
Yeah, I got it written down.
Yeah, that's what it was on Neighbors.
Okay.
Oh, it is? I'm sorry. All right.
Either way,
I'm sorry. I thought it was
No,
part of
little-
Town of Walk Hill.
Okay.
either way, all you really want to do
But
is
still,
tell
you
the
know, just be
people.
mindful, because if they're doing it there, they could be coming into the town as well. You
Correct.
know, so that's just a food for thought. And also the community council, we are having our barbecue the first Thursday of September at 6 o'clock, as Eric Valentine mentioned. All are welcome. If you are having trouble with anything in your neighborhood, any problems in your neighborhood, come to our meeting and we will help you rectify it. Or if you want to start a neighborhood block watch, come see us that day. It's a perfect day to come and meet the council, meet the chief, some police officers maybe, and have some food and have some conversation with us and meet the board.
It's the
Thank
second
you.
Thursday.
Thank you.
It's the second Thursday, the 8th. I said the first. It's the second Thursday. It's okay.
Can I just, you got it all figured out.
And good barbecue.
So I just want to say for the audience too, if you notice that there's a road sign missing or that's been taken down or knocked down, if you contact the highway department for that municipality, they'll usually get it corrected very quickly, especially if it's like a stop sign or something, because that could be pretty bad. But I know that happened in my neck of the woods, and some people would call me, the constituents, and you know, I made a phone call and the very next day the signs were up. So, you know, if you ever notice that, just a phone call to the highway department should take care of it. Thanks.
Thank you. Zoom. Audience.
Ovid Figueroa, Blumel Road. So hopefully the comptroller's office is still in town hall and they're watching these meetings. The last two work sessions, in my opinion, have been very disturbing to watch. As resident of the town and a voter, I expect my elected officials to know what's going on and represent me. I would like to know, as a resident of the third ward, what information my elected officials are not entitled to. And just from watching the meetings after meeting, it is clear business is now being conducted behind closed doors. So what is it that my councilman and the public are not privileged to know when the board communicates with themselves? I get it, you may not like each other and may not want to hear each other's opinions, Lord knows, sometimes I don't want to hear what you guys have to say either. But at the end of the day, this is government listening to people with different opinions and hopefully getting better results in the end. But what I saw was me and my neighbors being disenfranchised, and that's really unacceptable when we're dealing with people that are not communicating with an individual board member. Last week, there was also a discussion on having the town employees create policies. Management creates policies, not employees. I would recommend you discuss this with the comptroller's office since they're in the building, and hire a consultant to work on this. As a small business owner, I hire consultants for stuff like this all the time, and I would recommend you do the same. One of the things I've talked about with my consultants is when an employee can't seem to get the momentum on projects like policy creation and implementation, as the board has procrastinated over the last year, it only can come down to three things that are going on. Number one, do they know what to do, but don't have the ability to do it? In that case, you hire a consultant. Do they know what to do, but don't have the experience to do it? In that case, you hire a consultant. They know what to do, but they don't want to do it. In that case, the question really is, why not? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in Zoom? Anyone in the audience? Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in the audience? With that, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.